subscribe.
Car D Kaizoku.
This video is sponsored by Nengarden. Nengarden is holding a Black Friday sale. You can get 40 to 60% off site-wide. This stacks with my promo code CardKaizoku for an additional 5% off on top of the sale. Just want to save y'all a couple bucks. This video is sponsored by gumgum.gg. Man, what deck should I play today? Oh, I know. I'll head over to gumgum.gg for the most up-to-date One Piece deck lists. Updated daily with over 1,000 deck lists per set, including both Eastern and Western decks. Whether you're chasing the meta or hunting for rogue strategies, use gumgum.gg. This video is sponsored by Card Market, Europe's largest online marketplace for trading card games. Alright, so we're going to be doing the live reaction first impressions of the rest of OP10. This is a part 2 video. Part 1 is probably yesterday's video on my channel, so you can check that out if you haven't already. We're going to be taking a look at the purple and the black and the yellow cards. So let's get started. But first off, yeah, I was able to read your comments before recording this video. I did misread what Kinemon did, right? The both 2-cost versions, the torso and the legs. I missed that you have to have the other one in your trash. So it's not pulling 2 cards from your hand to play out the 6 costs. They could already have been in your trash. Like this one's a 2k, so you'll probably have it in your trash anyway. So it's 2 down to play this one out. Bottom deck, both this and then the one in your trash to play out a 6 cost. But the 6 cost does have to come from your hand. So in the end, it's only 2 cards instead of 3. A little better than I initially thought, but I don't know if that'll make it still viable, right? It would only work in like a Kinemon or an Odin deck, but we'll have to see, right? 2 down for 6 cost sounds pretty good, but I don't know if that saves the deck. I guess I was distracted by some stuff on screen here, but yeah, let's get started on the purple cards. So first up, we have Violet, 3 cost, 4k power, 1k counter. It's a blocker, and then on KO, Dawn -1. If your leader has the Don Quixote Pirates type, add up to 1 purple event card from your trash to your hand. Okay, so it's a blocker that replaces itself with an event card on death. I mean, it's card advantage. I just don't know if there are any good purple events worth it. I'm guessing they're going to print some out in this set, so we'll take a look. Okay, we have a new Sanji card, 1 cost, 2k power, 1k counter. When you on play, if your leader has the Germa type, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with the Germa type and add to your hand. Okay, so Reiju gets a 1 cost searcher. I think that actually really buffs the deck a lot. Because in that deck, 7 cost ETG is such like an integral part of like your early aggression, early pressure that your opponent can't really like recover from. But the only thing holding it back is, yeah, the consistency of finding it in your opening hand, right? They're playing cards like the German Kingdom stage. They're playing Portias to try to find both pieces of the ETG. You have a new 1 cost searcher that can fit into that curve now, right? 1 Dawn is not a big investment at all. This can even search into a stage to find the ETGs in case you don't find it in your first search with the Sanji. You can even play this out with the Portia too, right? So there's a way to search into a searcher in this deck. It kind of like completes the loop because you can even like Portia into Sanji into a German Kingdom stage, technically. So you'll find your ETGs much more easily this way. Would this make Reiju viable? It might actually, right? The 1 cost Law Searcher brought Purple Luffy into dominance, right? The consistency it brought. So I can see this Sanji doing the same thing for the Reiju deck. Pretty cool. Happy for the Reijus. We'll go next. Replica Soldier, 2 cost, 2k power, 1k counter, just a blocker. Okay, yeah, nice to have. And the German Kingdom type. Was there not already one in the deck? Wasn't there like, what's her name? This card, Cosette. If your leader has the Germa 66 type and your board has 2 or more Dawn. Oh, it's a conditional blocker. Okay, this one's a guaranteed 2 cost blocker. Okay, yeah, nice to have, I guess. Up next, we have Sugar, 1 cost, 1k power, 1k counter, 111. Activate May, you can rest one of your Dawn cards and rest this character. Okay, it's a top 5 rest searcher, similar to the starter deck Bonnie. It looks for Don Quixote Pirates type, add to your hand. That's good to have. So, wait, does that mean that like Green Purple Doflamingo has like a shitload of searchers he can use? Right, there's the Baby 5 searcher, there's this Sugar searcher. That would add a lot of consistency and a lot of stall power to a Green Purple Doflamingo deck. Yeah, this might be a bigger buff to Grape Doflamingo than it is for Sugar. I still don't really know what Sugar is supposed to do, but maybe we'll figure it out by looking at the rest of the purple cards. So we have Jorah next, 2k counter. A new 2k counter you can search with the purple searcher. Then when your opponent attacks once per turn, you can put 2 of your Dawn cards as rested, and you can rest one of your opponent's 4 costs. Well, yeah, it's a 2k counter, so we can't expect too great an effect on her. So what we have next, we have Senior Pink, 5 cost, 6k power, no counter, so we're expecting a good effect. It's a rare too, so let's see what he does. On play, Dawn -1. Add up to 1 purple event card with the cost of 5 or less from your trash to your hand. Afterwards, untap 1 of your Dawn. Okay, it's not bad, right? It's draw a card. It's kind of like Queen in that way. Except Queen lets you filter your hand with your deck because you're drawing 2, discarding 1. Mr. Senior Pink. Sorry, didn't mean to get my honorifics mixed up. I was gonna say Mr. Pink, but Senior Pink draws it directly from your trash, and you get to target which one you pick. Now, is there a good purple event card with the cost of 5 or less? The only ones I can think of are like the defensive ones and like Gamma Knife, and like, no, that's pretty much all I can think of, but maybe they'll have some nice ones printed in the set. Okay, up next is Vanilla Diamante. Okay. Fighting Fish, 4 cost 6k power. It's an animal and Dressrosa type character. Dawn times 1 when attacking, and then Dawn -1. That's a lot of Dawn needed. KO to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 1 or less. And that's all it does for all that. I guess you need it to combo with black. So it's a purple black Luffy card. It's a king card, but I don't think it's too great. Up next is Trouble, 4 cost 5k power, 1k counter. It's a blocker. And then on play, until the end of your opponent's next turn, all of your characters with an original power of 1000 or less cannot be KO'd by your opponent's effects. I think we only saw like that sugar as a 1k, right? It protects your sugar, but you're gonna tap the sugar to draw anyway. So I don't know what he is for. Maybe there's some other 1k power purple cards in this set. Let's take a look. Nope, it's 9k. It's the complete opposite end. So Don Quixote Doflamingo, 8 cost 9k power. On play, Dawn -1 up to 1 character card with the type of Don Quixote Pirates with the cost of 5 or less from your hand will appear. That means you can play out another character. Great! This effect is really strong in purple. We've seen that with Luffy Taro, being able to do that in a sugar deck. I don't know if that plays with how sugar works, because sugar seemed more like a event focus, but we'll see what the rest of the card reads. When your opponent attacks once per turn, you can rest 1 of your Dawn, add it to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck is active. Okay, so it's like a Miss Wednesday effect from EB01, this one, right? When your opponent attacks, Dawn -1, and then you ramp a Dawn, and then the leader ramps you another Dawn back. Okay, so it's not really the same, but the end outcome is you're up 1 Dawn. So this is what this Doflamingo does for you. And it cheats out a 5 cost. It's not color locked like the Luffy Taro is. The ones that come to mind are like the Green Diamante. That one seems pretty good. Let me bring him up. This guy, right? He's a blocker. And then if you have Dawn on him and you have 2 active Dawn, he untaps himself. There's also this Doflamingo from OP09. It's also a blocker. And then at the end of your turn, if you have 2 or more rested characters, he can untap himself to block again. So he can attack and block. So these are pretty good options to cheat out with this Doflamingo. Could be pretty good synergy here. And you also get like a 9k at the end of it. And then yeah, it's purples, right? So we have access to ramp. We can ramp to 8 to play this guy out. And then we'll go down to 7 and then next turn go to 9. So yeah, it's completely fine. Up next we have Don Quixote Rocinante. Oh, he's 5 cost too. Maybe he's the guy that you're supposed to cheat out with that Doflamingo card. So 1k counter, 6k power on play. You can discard 1 event card from your hand and you can draw 2 cards. Okay, that's pretty good already, right? You're filtering out an event card that maybe you don't need. Draw 2 cards that could be like counter to protect you. And then at the end of your turn, if you have 7 or more Dawn cards on your field, activate up to 2 of your Dawn. Ooh, what the heck? So that synergizes really well with the Doflamingo we just saw. Right, you play this guy out for 8, cheat out the Rocinante. You have the Dawn -1, so you're at 7. He gives you 2 rested Dawn. Back is active, so you have 2 floating. Then when your opponent attacks, you can rest 1 of those active Dawn, and then you can ramp 1 Dawn, so you're back up to 8. So you don't lose any Dawn at all. Next turn you go to 10. Even have 1 Dawn up for like a Blast Breath or something like that. Yeah, And he also draws you 2 cards, right? He filters a card out of your hand to draw you 2. So between Rocinante and then the blockers, I mean, I feel like they all have merit, right? I think they're all great choices. So glad they added a card draw option as well. I like it. Up next is Buffalo, who's just a vanilla, so we'll skip. Pika. Once per turn, if this character would be killed by your opponent's effects, you can rest 2 of your active Dawn cards instead. Okay, that also works with the Doflamingo. No, it works with this Rocinante. So for 5 Dawn, you play this out, you get 2 active Dawn. And then for 4 Dawn, you play this guy out. He can be prevented from dying. I don't know, he's just a 4 cost 5k, so we'll have to see. I guess he's something you can cheat out with that Doflamingo as well. Just as like a backup body that's not a useful 6k with blocker or can draw you a card. I don't know, he's kind of sticky, I guess. Up next we have Foxy, a Foxy character. 2k counter, okay, that's a great addition to the Foxy deck. Activate main, you can place this character in the trash. If the number of Dawn cards on your field is less than or equal to your opponent's, you draw a card. Okay, yeah, 2k counter, can't ask for much else more than that. Something you can cheat out with the Porsche too, and then you just trash him to draw a card. Okay, Baby 5, 3 cost 1k power. Okay, this is something that Trouble can protect. It's a 2k counter though, so probably never going to play it out. On play, you can discard 1 card from your hand if your leader has the Don Quixote Pirates type, and if 1 card from your deck is active. Is that Dawn deck? Yeah, Dawn deki kara Dawn 1枚までを active で追加する. So it ramps you a Dawn at the cost of discarding a card from your hand. I guess if you have to ramp, I don't know how the sugar deck is gonna work, or even like the new green purple Doflamingo. If you need like a emergency 3-cost way to ramp because you missed some other way to ramping, I guess baby 5 is an option now. And if you don't need it for that, it's a 2k counter, so it's pretty useful. That means there's like what, 2k baby 5s, right? There's a green and a purple one now. Up next is Bellamy, 3-cost 4k power, 1k counter, blocker, and then when blocking, you can set 2 of your Dawn cards as rested, and then you can add up to 1 Dawn deck when your Dawn deck is active. Did I just say Dawn deck from your Dawn deck? Yes, I did. Okay, so when he blocks and you have 2 Dawn to spare, you can ramp a Dawn. And he's not even like a substantial blocker too, so he'll just die. I mean, I don't know. Doesn't sound that great to me. Ooh, we have some purple events, so I will never forgive anyone who laughs at my family. On main or on counter, you can get the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal to 1 card with the Don Quixote Pirates type, other than this event, and add to your hand. Okay, so it's a 1 cost that you can synergize with a bunch of the cards in this set. Were there any? Like, yeah, you could discard this with the Rocinante to draw 2. I think the Sugar Leader lets you... Wait, what does she do again? When you activate an event, you can ramp it on. Okay, so that's good, right? Because you're going to be wanting to search anyway early on, so you just get the ramp as you do that. Yeah, there's no downside to it, right? You're drawing a card and ramping with the sugar. So actually, yeah, this card works really well for sugar. I don't know if it works well for a green purple Doflamingo. Let's see what's up next though. Divine Punishment, 5-cost event. Main, key up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Afterwards, add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck is active. Wait, that's good, isn't it? It's a purple card too, right? Because what is that card? Finger Pistol is 4 Dawn to kill a 5-cost. This is just 1 Dawn more, which purple has no issue ramping. So you can kill a 5-cost that way. It's like it pays for itself, right? 5 cost to kill a 5-cost. You're also ramping a Dawn afterwards too, right? This is strictly better than, what is that card? Brachial Bomber or something? This one? Oh no, it's exactly the same thing, right? This one is 6-cost KO a 6-cost character and ramp a Dawn. This one is just the 5 Dawn version of that. Yeah, I like it, right? It's a little cheaper. You can fit in 2 of these in a turn too. Red Purple Luffy could even run this, right? If you like miss a Zorojiro, like this will guarantee a ramp. Zorojiro can die before it ramps for you. And this will kill whatever your opponent played out to stall. Yeah. Cool. Up next is another event, 3-cost Little Bear Toy. Counter up to 1 of your leaders or characters that's plus 4k power during this battle. It's 3 Dawn for 4k counter, that doesn't sound good. After that, if you have 7 or more Dawn cards on your field and 5 or less cards in your hand, draw a card. I don't know. I would have preferred if it was just 3 cost and then 6k counter plus some other effect, but I mean, I guess you could just utilize it in your deck to like draw from your discard and then discard to draw more cards. But I don't know, if you're having to discard these events that you don't want to play to draw cards that might be more events you don't want to play, is that net positive in the end? We'll have to see. I think I have to really do like a curve analysis for Sugar to see how her deck is supposed to work. Because just from reading these cards, I don't really have a good sense. I have to like see it in action. Okay, moving on to black, we have Usopp, a character. So he's a character and a leader of this set. 4-cost 5k power, 1k counter. On play, you can rest up to 1 of your leaders or stages with the Dressrosa type. You can kill up to 1 of your opponent's characters with the cost of 2 or less. Afterwards, place the top 2 cards of your deck into the trash. That's good, right? Especially in black, 2 costs is not a hard number to reach with the amount of cost reduction you have available. And yeah, it's a 5k attacking body that can KO something. That's always a strong thing in black. So I do have good optics for this Usopp. Even though it's just a comment, I think it's actually very playable. Up next is Kuzan. So I've seen this card go around. A lot of people have like strong reactions to it. So what he does is, yeah, he's a 5-cost 5k power, no counter. This guy cannot be removed from field by any effects. That's by bounce, by bottom deck, by KO. None of that affects this Kuzan, so he's guaranteed to stay on board to attack at least once. He does die to like being attacked into though. So the second part of his effect is activate main. You can place this character into the trash. You can draw 1 card. After that, play up to 1 character card with the Blackbeard Pirates type other than a Kuzan with the cost of 5 or less from your trash. So he basically turns into any Blackbeard Pirate card you need. I think the most potent one is that Jesus Burgess that gets plus 1k power for every 4 cards in your discard. So you're free to discard and counter with any Blackbeard Pirates card you have in your hand, because this Kuzan can always turn into it later on. He even gets a 5k swing in before he does that, right? So it burns 1 card from your opponent's hand, or it makes him take a life, and then he also like replaces himself. So like, yeah, basically it's like playing a Jesus Burgess and drawing a card, right? You're adding that plus 1 card draw to any character that you play. So yeah, I can see why people are hyped up about this card, and some people even kind of hate that Blackbeard is getting such strong support. It's shaping up to be like a Blackbeard meta in OP10, it looks like. Up next we have Momonosuke Kozuki. Why they reverse it? Okay, 2 cost 0k power, 2k counter. for the Usopp deck, it looks like. So activate main, you can rest this character in one of your leaders or stages with the Dressrosa type. Up to one of your opponent's characters gets -2 cost. Okay, yeah, that's fine, right? 2 cost for -2 cost, and it's a 2k counter. A little worse than Sudo, of course, but then nothing else, because this is strictly worse than Sudo. Oh, I guess it's an activate main, so you could always use it again if it lives. But yeah, Sudo will always be better, I think. Especially with the Gecko Moria, because the on-plays lets you do stuff simultaneously, while this Momo needs you to like activate the cost reduction after your like KO effect might have been already played out. So up next we have San Juan Wolf, who is just a vanilla. We have a new Jesus Burgess card. I like the art on this one a lot more. What does he do? So 5 cost 6k power, down times 1. If you have 8 or more cards in your trash, this character gains rush. Okay. I mean, you have a rush option in Blackbeard now. That's scary. And that Kuzan can turn into this rush option, right? You can do like a 1-2 punch, attack with him for 5, and then trash him, and then play out this Jesus to attack. Oh, you have to attach Dawn, but you can attack the turn that you play him out. Pretty neat. I think that opens up a few lines for Blackbeard too. Then we have a Shiryu, a lot of Blackbeard support. 4 cost 5k power. It's supposed to be like the Dressrosa set, I thought. 1k counter, so during your opponent's turn, he gets plus 2k power, so he's a 4 cost 7k power on your opponent's turn. That's pretty crazy, so it's hard to like attack into him. Then activate main once per turn. If your leader has the Blackbeard pirate's type and this character was played this turn, kill to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less. Original cost. Okay, so it's kind of like that 9 cost Kaido, but not as good, right? Because it's on original cost. So even if you cost reduce something, this doesn't really help you with this part. So it's there to kill like a bunch of chump blockers and stuff. I guess it's okay, but I don't know if it'll be runnable. Because yeah, the spots in the deck are kind of limited now. He's gotten enough support for like a pretty solid solve deck right now, Blackbeard. So let's go to the next card. Tony Chopper, 2 cost 0k power, 1k counter. How come all these like funny face cards have 0 power? I was gonna say Minecraft, but copyright. Okay, so activate main, you can rest stage or leader with Dressrosa. If your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, they discard 1 card from their hand and then place the top 2 cards of your deck into the trash. That sounds like doo-doo. 2 down to make your opponent mill 1 and conditionally mill, and you have to rest a stage or leader. I don't know. A little disappointing. Then we have a Nami card, 2 cost 0k power, 1k counter. Activate main, you can rest this character and one of your leaders or stages with the Dressrosa type. You can draw 1 card and then place the top 2 cards of your deck into the trash. What is this for? There's some synergy here I'm missing. Like all the 0 power ones kind of suck. I mean, yeah, it's like thematic for what happens in the manga when they get transformed into this. I feel like it's kind of like a waste of a design space. I don't know, maybe we'll see what they're supposed to be used for. Up next, Vanilla Robin. Oh my mommy. Oh, sorry, cut that part out, editor. We'll go next. Okay, so Frankie, 4 cost 5k power, 1k counter. Blocker, and then on KO, rest up to one of your character cards with the Dressrosa type. Huh? And cost 3 or less. Okay, let me read the Japanese. Okay, you can play at 3 cost with the Dressrosa type from your discard out as rested. How'd the translation muck that up so horribly? But yeah, it's a blocker that replaces itself with the character from your trash. I'm pretty sure it's not these like 2 cost 0k power ones. You could play out like Barto and stuff, like blockers that if your opponent doesn't attack, then you'll have a blocker up next turn, so they're kind of like they're a blocker on the turn that you play them out. But yeah, I guess it's great. And then this is a 4 cost that you can cheat out with Gecko Moria too. Let's see what's up next. Brook, 3 cost 0k power, 1k counter. Activate main, you can rest this character in one of your K up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 1 or less. Afterwards, place the top 2 cards of your deck into the trash. So it's like a worse EV01 Brook. Strictly worse. What the heck is the point of this? Okay, we have Perona, 4 cost 5k power, 1k counter. Activate main once per turn. You can place 2 cards with the Thriller Bark cards type from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. Up to one of your non-Perona characters gets plus 2k power during this turn. I've never seen this like non-Perona type of wording before. So bottom deck 2 cards to buff 2k. Is that worth the spot in green black Perona? I don't think so. You want to play stuff like Absaloms and Hogback, right? Even the 2k counter Perona is way better than this, I think. So unfortunately, I don't think this is gonna have a spot or save that Gecko Moria leader. Up next is Homing Saint in like a very ukiyo-e style. Actually kind of really dig the art here. So what does he do? 1 cost 0k power, 1k counter, Celestial Dragon type. Activate main, you can place this character to the trash. Up to one of your black characters gets plus 3 cost until the end of your opponent's next turn. I feel like they're building up to something with all the Celestial Dragon cards, but like, I don't know, they all kind of have the same theme, but there's no like way to play them legitimately. I'm guessing they're going to release like a Celestial Dragon leader at some point where it all will make sense. Or I don't know, maybe they're just like trying to fill space in the set with cards like this. Up next is Ryuma, 4 cost 6k power. How come all the Ryumas are this stat line? So down times 1, this character gets double attack. But I guess you have an aggro option in Gecko Moria. They're putting Gecko Moria support. So this set is Gecko Moria plus Dressrosa plus Blackbeard in black for some reason. We have a Zoro card, Dressrosa Supernova Straw Hat. Interesting. I really like the art here. I like suited up Zoro. So 4 cost 6k power. On play, you can rest up to one of your leaders or stages with Dressrosa, K up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. Afterwards, place the top 2 cards of your deck in trash. What the heck? That's really good. You're playing a 4-drop that can KO a 4-drop and needs a vanilla stat line. This is amazing. But yeah, it's only usable in Rebecca and Usopp. And Kairos too, technically. I mean, yeah, if Usopp is meta, this is like one of the best cards for the deck. So I like this a lot. And it's just a rare too. Okay, black events. We don't need the 7 warlords anymore. 4 cost event, K up to one of your opponent's characters with the Shichibukai trait with the cost of 8 or less. It's very targeted to removal. This is a very like Magic the Gathering type removal card, right? Because there's cards that like straight up let you kill only like red or green characters and it's like really cheap. But 4 cost for 8k, is there like a 7 warlords that's 8 cost or less that is the main target for this? I'm trying to think story wise, what happens? What does Isho want to target? I guess it's the purple Doflamingo, right? That we just saw earlier. And then on trigger, you can KO a Shichibukai with the cost of 4 or less. I mean, this is like targeted removal for the Doflamingo deck, but you don't really need the overkill 8 cost part. So we'll move up to the next card. It's Gum Gum Rhino Howitzer. 1 cost event. Sorry, I feel like my words are starting to slur, and that's because, yeah, I'm just off the plane from like a pretty long trip over the weekend, and I'm a little tired, so hope you don't mind. I gotta get this video up, you know. Okay, so what does this do on main? Up to one of your characters with the type Dressrosa is 2k power during this turn. After that, if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, that card gains banished during this turn. Okay, I remember hearing about this card because it works really well with this card right here. Right, so you can give him plus 2k for 1 Dawn and he gets banish if you have 10 or more cards. And the caveat is that if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, it gets banished for the whole turn. So even if you return 7 cards and that makes you go under 10, he does retain banish. So yeah, you can get double banish from him because he can attack twice. If you return 7 cards, he untaps himself. So that is pretty potent. It's a potent combo here. And yeah, we see Luffy in the event card itself, so we know it's supposed to be used with him. And then as a trigger, it's great too. Draw 2, discard 1. And then we have release, 6 cost event. On main, if you have 2 or more characters less than your opponent, kill up to one of your opponent's original characters with the cost of 6 or less, and up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 4 or less. Ooh, it kills 2 things. But yeah, original cost, so it doesn't let you like manipulate it with cost reduction. I guess it's kind of like a gravity blade, black gravity blade, and with the kind of disjointed costs here. But this does let you hit some pretty like troublesome targets that Blackbeard usually has a hard time with. Because currently with like Doc Q plus Van Augur, you're able to kill a 4 cost only. Laboon lets you kill a 5 cost only, so if your opponent plays like a 6 cost, or if you like whiff on your Laboons because Laboon's not searchable, release lets you kill that, and also another thing on top of it, right? You kill 6 cost and then a stray other character that they have. This is like the Doflamingo super counter, right? 6 on to kill 2 of their threats. So yeah, it's a good option for Blackbeard, if Blackbeard even has trouble against Blue Doflamingo. And then as a trigger, it negates one of your opponent's leaders or characters during this turn. But yeah, negate doesn't stop it from attacking, it just removes effects, I believe. So we'll go next card. Oh, yellow. Okay, let's see. The only monocolor leader from this set. I think it is, yeah. So Kid, 5 life, 5000 power. At the end of your turn, you can turn the top card of your life face up, activate up to one of your characters with the Supernova trait with a cost of 3 to 8, then it gains blocker. So you'll always have a blocker available as long as you have life to flip face up. So this deck's gonna revolve around ways to flip your life back face down, or even heal, because you'll heal face down life, and then making stuff into a blocker that it's probably stuff that you want to die anyway, right? I think that's some of the cards that I saw for this leader before this full reveal. I do think he will be meta, like him and then Red Green Smoker are like my 2 candidates at the moment. But we'll see if the other support in this set like solidifies my sentiment on that. So we have Inazumi, who they translate as lightning. Will cost 5k power. Oh, it's a Rev Army card. It's another Bello Betty card. 9 times 1. When attacking, put up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost equal to or less than the total number of life of both players into rest. So when it attacks, it can rest something. But that's not the thing that you're attacking, right? Because it gets rested after you attack. And then on trigger, if you have the Rev Army type as a leader, and then total number of life between your opponent and each player's hands is 5 or less, you can activate this card. I have to read the Japanese. Hold on. Yeah, this is like the 09 Bello Betty cards. If the total life is 5 or less, you can play it out. Nothing to do with your opponent's hand and nothing to do with activating the card. It just comes out as active. Ay ay ay. Google Translate, come on. Okay, up next we have a new Uruj. 5 cost 7k power, small head. Okay, Ivankov, 5 cost 6k power, 1k counter. Activate main once per turn. Up to 3 of your characters with the Rev Army type get plus 1k power during this turn. Then add the top card of your life to your hand. Ooh, okay. They had me go in there for the first part. It's like a mini Bello Betty ability. Say that 10 times fast. Okay, so Bello Betty discards 1, buffs 3 things for 3k. This Ivankov, on top of that, buffs 3 things for 1k each. So it's 12k in stats, and you have to take a life. But the way that this card is worded is that you can even use this effect when you're at 0 life, right? It's not a prerequisite to being able to activate it. So yeah, it just fuels the all-in nature of a Bello Betty deck. Unfortunately, this card cannot be triggered out. I think it can only be played out by the other Ivankov. Oh no, it can't, right? Because the Ivankov cannot play out another Ivankov, if I remember correctly. Let me double check to confirm. Okay, so this Ivankov cannot play out another Ivankov, and this one can, but 5,000 power or less. So yeah, this one has to be hard casted from your hand. I don't know, might be too slow. Okay, up next is a new Bedge card, 1 cost 0k power. Why they give him like such low stat lines? He's not that weak. He's a Supernova, come on. Okay, 2k counter, so another 2k counter Bedge. They really like to like relegate characters to certain like roles, right? There's no like strong at stat line Nami. They're all like searchers and like utility cards. That's kind of one thing I don't like about how they design these cards. Why can't they make other characters all be like strong attackers, right? It doesn't have to fit with their perceived role in the series. So Badge, on play, you can add up to 1 card from the top of bottom of your life to your hand, and then you can add up to 1 character card with the type Supernova from your hand to the top of your life, face up. So this lets you target, it's like a Hiyori for Supernova. I think this is more for the green-yellow law, right? Because that lets you target out what you want to cheat out with that law, not for Kid. So we'll go next, Caribou. 4 cost 5k power, 1k counter. Down times 1 if your leader has the Supernova type and your opponent has 3 or more life cards. This card cannot be KO'd in battle. I guess it's a good filler option. I'll have to see what the other yellow cards are. Okay, Cavendish Vanilla. So just a vanilla, a new killer card, 3 cost 5k power. On KO, if your leader has a Supernova type, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 1 with the Supernova or Kid Pirates type, add it to your hand. Okay, so it's like a Perospero for Supernova and Kid Pirates. In a Kid deck, the Piss Kid deck, you can turn him into a blocker, right? So you can force your opponent to kill him. Unlike Perospero, Perospero can be ignored, but Killer can be turned into a blocker that replaces himself. So I like it. He stops an attack and then draws you a card. And he himself can attack too. Okay, 3 cost 4k power jewelry Bonnie, 1k counter, blocker. So it already has blocker. You don't have to use Kid's ability to make it into a blocker. And then on play, you can add 1 card from the top and bottom of your life to your hand. Add up to 1 character card with the cost of 5 with the trait Supernova from your hand to the top of face up on the top of your life. Okay, so just like that Bedge, this is card for green-yellow law. It lets you target which 5 costs you want to cheat out. And then she herself is a blocker too. That's good utility, right? You have a blocker that can do that, and then you also have a 2k counter that can do that. So maybe yellow green law isn't as bad as I initially thought. We have a new Apu, 1 cost 1k power, 1k counter. If you have a character other than Apu with the Supernova type, he gains blocker. Okay, so conditional blocker. Then Basil Hawkins, 4 cost 5k power, 1k counter. On KO, place up the 1 card on the top of your opponent's life into the trash. Okay, yeah, this is like a very potent card to turn into a blocker with the Kid. Right, you have a blocker that when your opponent attacks, they'll lose a life. It doesn't go to their hand, it goes straight to the trash, so it doesn't even trigger. So if you like have this up as a blocker, maybe your opponent doesn't attack you. But yeah, the thing is, if your opponent doesn't attack you, then your life will remain face up, so you can't turn Hawkins into a blocker the next turn, unless you like can flip your life face down or like heal. So I guess it's balanced in that regard. You can't always have him as a threat to deter your opponent from attacking. It's like a 1 turn kind of thing. But that also means that whenever he attacks, like your opponent will never like attack into him unless they can remove him some other way that bypasses the on KO. So he's also a sticky character, right? So yeah, really great card. And then trigger, draw 2 cards and discard 1. Yeah, I think this might be one of the best cards in this deck so far, at least. We have Heat and Wire, 3 cost 4k power, 1k counter. On play, place up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost equal to or less than your opponent's life into rest. Okay, that's not good. So bye. New Luffy card, 1 cost 2k power, 1k counter. Yeah, so Luffy has like high stat line and like very offensive cards, but he also has like utility and searcher cards like this. Why can't like Nami or Robin have like the versatility of being not just searchers? So on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal to 1 Supernova or Monkey D. Luffy and add to your hand. Okay, so it's a 1 cost searcher for the Supernova type in yellow. Great consistency. 8 cost Eustace Kid, 9k power. We saw this card revealed early on, so I know what he does. So on play, you can put this character as rested, and then if you do that, you could put the top card of your opponent's life into the trash. Then at the end of the turn, if your opponent has 2 or less life, you can draw a card and discard a card from your hand. So yeah, 8 Dawn, make your opponent trash a life. It's good for like applying pressure, because yeah, again, it doesn't go to your opponent's hand, the card, and it doesn't trigger too. And then in a Piss Kid deck, you have like a 9k blocker after playing this guy out. And you also Psycho Zoo a card too. So it is really good, I think. It's going to be a star card for the deck for sure. Right, because this combined with the Hoggins is like a lot of free life that your opponent has to lose, essentially. Up next is Zoro, 3 cost 5k power. There's 2 Zoro cards this set. If your life total is less than your opponent's, this character gets Rush. Okay, it's a Rush option in like a 4 life leader deck. I feel like it's good for that. You guys ever played House of the Dead? I'm just saying this after the fact, after I read the card, but I said Lurf earlier, and then I think there was like a scene where like the villain in the series talks about the Lurf Circle. Okay, probably no one gets that reference, but on trigger, you can discard a card from your hand, and if your leader has a Supernova type, you can play it out. Ooh, it's a trigger out card. But yeah, only in a Piss Kid deck and only in a green-yellow Law deck. I think he's more for Law, right? You have a Rush option on top of like the cards that you're cheating out to play out from your life. Up next, we have X-Drake, 3 cost, 3k power, 2k counter. Activate main, you can put this character as rested. If the number of cards in your life is equal to or less than your opponent's life, you can put up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 4 or less as rested. Okay, a 2k counter option that can be like an emergency EZO, I guess. But very conditional EZO, right? You need to have a life requirement, and then he himself becomes rested too, so he can die. But it's reusable in that regard. If he lives, you can rest a 4 cost every turn. Okay, events. See you in the new world. 2 cost event. Counter up to one of your leaders or characters gets 4k power. I can't speak anymore. Sorry. Afterwards, if you have 0 life, draw 1 card. 2 Dawn 4k counter that draws you a card that can potentially make it a 6k counter, I guess. I don't know if it's that great, but is the trigger good? Key up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost equal to or less than your opponent's life. I don't know if this will be used. Maybe. Probably not. Maybe. But probably not. Okay. Electromagnetic gun, 4 cost event. How did I say a 1? On main, look at up to 1 card from the top of you or your opponent's life, and then place it on the top or bottom of the life. Then key up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 5 or less. Okay, so we have a finger pistol and yellow too. Every color gets a finger pistol. I guess red started it with jet pistol. So every color has a pistol now, right? This blue. I think I went over the blue one last video. And then on trigger, draw 2, discard 1. That's a common yellow trigger, it seems like. And then we have room. Oh, cool. 1 cost event. It's Law's signature technique. On counter, if you have 1 or less life, up to one of your leaders or characters gets plus 3k power during this battle. Afterwards, untap one of your characters with the cost of 5 or less. Okay, so 1 Dawn 3k counter in yellow. Yellow guard point. No other requirements needed. You just have it available. And it lets you untap a 5 cost. Is there like a blocker that would be nice with this? Right, because if you have a blocker, you can block and then play this, untap it, block a second time. If it survived, that is. I guess that's alright. And then trigger draw card. Yeah, that's alright. I like it. Room. Okay, secret rares. We have a Luffy. Secret rare character. It's a black one. It's 6 cost, 7k power, 1k counter. Once per turn, this character cannot be KO'd by opponent's effects. Okay, only once a turn. He's immune to KO. When attacking, you can place the 3 cards from your trash on the bottom of your deck in any order. If your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, they must discard 1 card from their hand. I guess that's alright. Right, 3 cards isn't too steep, and then you're forcing multiple cards out of your opponent's hand. Because not only do they have to defend against the 7, they have to like trash a card on top of that. And then this Luffy is pretty sticky too, right? So with the Kurita Coliseum, he can attack the turn you play him. Yeah, I think it's a solid card. I don't know if it's like a meta warping card or anything like that, but definitely solid. Move on to Law, 7 cost, 9k power. On play, reveal up to 1 character card with the Supernova type from your hand and add it to your life face down. After that, grant up to 1 rested Dawn to one of your leaders or characters with the type Supernova. No, just leader. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is specifically for yellow-green Law, right? So you're playing 7 cost out, you'll heal 1, and then the Law... Where is he? Where's the Law? The Law, he needs that Dawn for his leader anyway, and then that card that you put on top of your life, you'll be able to cheat out because you have a 7 cost or more on board, right? This 7 drop you just played. So in actuality, it's another Luffy Taro effect. Right, you're playing a 7 drop and then the 5 drop out, and it's specific to green yellow Law, and it's not a purple card, right? Every other leader and card that we saw this effect in was for a purple deck. This one is in green and yellow. It's uncharacteristic, but pretty cool. And I guess technically, if you don't want to use them for green yellow Law, you could always just play it in any other deck that runs the Supernova package and just use it to heal. Because this is pretty cheap, right? 7 Dawn for a heal, but it's only with Supernova type cards. So yeah, I like this more than the Luffy actually. This is really good. Maybe this makes green yellow Law like viable. So I'll do like a curve analysis for him too to see how viable his deck is. So that should be it for OP10. Some interesting stuff. I think I'm really gonna have to try to map out how each of these decks play their curves and see what the cards actually do to get the gist of how strong they are. So that's what I'll be doing this week as well, and then I'll be doing more OP08 stuff, OP09 stuff, market stuff, so be on the lookout for that. So I'm gonna end this video now before like my mind completely goes and I can't speak anymore. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Hope you are excited for OP10. I'm a little excited for it. Maybe I'll pre-order some more boxes than I originally planned to. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. And if I did misread some cards like I did with the Kinemon last time, let me know too. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.
Card Kaizoku.